So let's jump in. As always, we'll keep you on mute, but if you have any questions or comments or insight, feel free to unmute or type it in the chat box. So what is spoofing, right? We hear things all the time like phishing and spoofing and hacking. Well, spoofing is a tactic in which cyber criminals disguise malicious communication or activity as something from a trusted source. They use that spoofing to fool victims into giving up sensitive information or money or downloading malware. And malware is a commonly used term when it comes to cybersecurity. And basically what it is software that's designed to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorized access to your computer systems. Basically all it is it's nasty, nasty stuff. So now that we know what it is, let's talk about some common types of spoofing. Lookalike websites. You know, we've talked about this before where the emails look like they're legit, but they're not. So you really have to comb through, use your best proofreading skills, and make sure you are on a legit website. Best thing is to type it in yourself and not follow links. So if you're typing it in and going direct to there, you're going to do better than clicking on links in emails or on other websites, etc. So for example, and I know it's a little blurry, so I apologize, but it looks like Amazon, but it's not. It has an extra N in there. So just make sure that you are on a valid website. Same thing, but in email form. We see this a lot from PayPal, from Amazon. The new one now is LinkedIn. We're getting a lot from LinkedIn that look like they're from LinkedIn, and they are not. So please pay attention. This looks like it is correct, but it is not. It's service.epaypal@outlook.com. I guarantee you a legitimate company is going to have their own company name in their URL. It will not come from Gmail. It will not come from Outlook. It will not come from AOL. It will not come from Hotmail. So even though it looks completely legitimate, it has their logo. It's nicely typed. May not be any errors. Make sure you're paying attention to that from email address. Another spoofing tactic is a legitimate company or governmental agency calling you. We get these all the time, right? You owe student loans, you owe this, you owe back taxes. Not legitimate. Fortunately, our cell phones these days are getting smarter and smarter, and it'll come up potential spam. Don't answer it. Trust your cell phone. It probably is potential spam. We know you get a lot of these on your desk phones in the office. If it's a recording, feel free to hang up. It's not legitimate, so go ahead and ignore it. If you ever have any questions and you're wondering if it is legitimate or not, just reach out. We'll be able to help you with that. We're working really hard to get rid of some of our old 800 numbers, which we have found are being spammed and spoofed a lot. So if you're getting a lot of these calls, reach out, let us know. We can do a little bit of research with Ring Central and try to prevent those as much as possible. A text message claiming to be from a friend or a coworker. Sound familiar? We all got them last week. Some of our agents even got them this week. It's been continuing to happen. Here's the example. This was actual sent to one of our agents. Hello, are you available? Let me know if you get my text. ... Steve Bell. Steve Bell does not have a 517 number. I guarantee it. Not Steve Bell. Feel free to block and ignore. If your agents have any questions on this, have them reach out. Have them go into their contacts and get the actual phone number for that person. I guarantee you our managers are not texting our agents to ask them to get gift cards. These are spoofers. What happens is their little trollers go onto our websites and they get all of our information. They can discern who our managers are and which agents are in those offices. We're in sales. We have to have our contact information out there. We're doing the best thing that we can to save our data, but our agents need to stay vigilant, and you guys can help them do that by sharing this information. We never want them to feel silly. Always have them reach out if they're questioning it, but I guarantee you our leadership is not going to ask for you to go purchase gift cards. Just so you know, this is Steve Bell. Something else is a caller ID spoofing. This is where what they consider a bad actor, that's the spoofer, the hacker, the bad person, however you want to think of them, will call you with a spoof number that seems like it's from a different number. So meaning when you call the number back, you're actually calling the spoof number. So this was Barb's example. One of her friends used to work at a restaurant, and a man called in confused to why the restaurant had called him, but no one at the restaurant did. So it was that bad actor spoofing the number to look like the restaurant's number. So what's this scam? Well, okay, Mr. So-and-so, your credit card didn't run through, so I'm going to need that payment. You didn't pay for your meal. Credit card number given, right? So this has got to stay vigilant. If you did not go to that restaurant, by the way, don't call them back. You don't need to. Just let these things go. So it's about being vigilant and staying on top of some of this data. A story I like to tell is my sister-in-law my sister's father-in-law got a text from PayPal saying that he owed funds. And she's like, you don't have PayPal. You're absolutely okay. You don't even have an account, so ignore it. This one's really scary, GPS spoofing. So this is where they spoof a GPS location or directions to send you to a different location, which most likely would be unsafe, right? They're spoofers, they're hackers, they're spammers, they're bad actors. So GPS spoofing can be used to redirect navigational systems in all vehicles of all kinds, including our passenger cars, scary stuff, right? Commercial airplanes, naval vessels, public buses, and everything in between. So make sure you're using legitimate apps. Make sure the data feels good. I always go back to that Office episode where Michael drives his car into the lake because the GPS told him to turn left. Don't always have to listen. Make sure you feel safe about where it's sending you. Notification pop-ups. So there's actually an image here. This is where some hackers will take over part of a website and use it to send you scary, and they are scary. Look at that big red exclamation marks. Notifications. They're not real, and they take advantage of the notification tab on your Windows sidebar. It's best to restart your computer immediately if you see this happen, and then turn off notifications from your web browsers. You can also do it in the Chrome settings by going to Privacy and Security and selecting the radio button to Do Not Send Me Notifications. So good tip there. If something looks crazy on your computer, you're not sure what to do, shut it down. Oops, let me go back one. So here is where you can go to manage your notifications, and you can toggle that to off. So don't even give them the opportunity to send you those scary notifications. So those are just some common spoofing tactics that we've seen. Obviously, every day's a new day. These people are not stopping. They're going to continue to have new ways of doing it, and they're getting better and better. Some of the emails even I have to go through multiple times. I'm like, ooh, that really does look good. So be careful. What can we do to stay safe? Verify, right? Back to our Steve Bell example. Log into Moxie, go to the hub, open up our directory, which we did move. So we had this in Schmidt Resources. It was not password protected. So because of some of these spoofers, we wanted to keep our information safe. So we did move it to the Moxie hub. We didn't want to put a different password on it in Schmidt Resources, so the agents had one more thing to remember. So we moved it to Moxie hub, so as soon as they log in, they'll be able to get to the directory. So very clearly, Steve Bell's number, 616, not the 517 that was used by the spoofer. So verify the information. Call that person back on a number that you know is their number and not the number in which they contacted you. Another way to verify is if a message does ask you for personal information, to click the URL link or to open an attachment, it's good to make sure it's actually legitimate before you do any of those things. So does the email or the information contain personal information the other person would know about you? Like, is it asking about your dog, asking how was your vacation? Or does it begin with dear customer or to whom it may concern? So again, those are going to be bad actors. They don't know you. They don't intimately have your details. They don't know your first name. They don't know your last name. So make sure that you're making sure these are legitimate messages. Also look for obvious spelling or grammatical errors. A lot of time bad agents are just getting these things out as much as they can, right? Hacking, spoofing, it's a volume game. You got to get as many out as you can to try to get somebody to bite. So they often don't go back and check their spelling. However, caveat, they're getting better at this. There's not near as many grammatical errors in some of these spoof emails that we've seen. Back to that PayPal example, they're looking pretty darn legitimate. So always look for those errors, but again, keep in mind, there may not be errors and it may be false information. Block, 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 block them. You get those text messages saying, this is Ken Schmidt, can you buy me a gift card? Nope, I'm good. Block the number. Go ahead and block, block, block. When we see these kind of texts coming through, we can block them from our Ring Central system, but we cannot block them from our agents' cell phones. So go ahead and encourage your agents to block those numbers and don't engage the spoofer. Don't engage them, just block. You want to browse securely. HTTP versus HTTPS is a very big difference. HTTPS stands for security. S is for security. So if you have to go to a HTTP site, be very careful. Don't give them any data. Don't put your credit card in. Make sure it's an HTTPS site. In order to be a secure site, just like what we have to do on our Moxie sites, you have to apply for that security certificate. So if it's an HTTPS site, It has been vetted out. So make sure that you're going to secure sites. And you can see right here, well, you could if I didn't go back a slide. You can see right there, it tells you on Google Chrome if your connection is secure or not. Clear your cookies. I know it's annoying because then all your stuff goes away. It's not saved in. Clear your cookies. It's good practice to do so at least once a week, if not more. If you click on an errant link, if you think you maybe downloaded something that just didn't feel right after you download it, go ahead and clear your cookies. This is how you do it in Google Chrome. You just go to privacy and security and clear browsing data, cookies and other site data as well. So make sure you're clearing those cookies out. We want to make sure all that bad stuff goes away. Eat a cookie while you're doing it. It'd be a fun way to do it, right? Every Friday afternoon, have a cookie, clear your cookies. Two-factor. Sometimes it's a bad word, but it's all something we have to do. By the end of the year, I'm 97.5% positive that everything we do will be two-factor. That's just because it's security purposes only, right? So we know we did it on our Google accounts. We know we know Account Tech has dual mobile. For Michigan and Ohio, .loop will be going to two-factor by the end of the year. Florida app files, we're pushing for it, but we're not sure yet, but two-factor whenever possible. If you happen to fall for a spoofing attempt and you do input your username and password, the two-factor will help block the bad actor. The double authentication will block them from accessing your accounts, even if you do your username and password, because we all need the text, we need the dual mobile app, we need a phone call, we need something to do the two-factor. So please make sure you're turning that on. Personally, I have it on everything I can possibly have it on. It's just a security measure. I know it's a pain in the butt. I really do, but it is for the security and safety of our data, which is vitally important to us all. At the end of the day, be vigilant. Just assume it's spam. Assume it's a hacker. Assume it's a spoofer. See cyber risks everywhere. And if you don't get this movie reference, some of you may not. It's an older movie, but I see a lot of smiles, so I know some of you do. So if I see cyber risks everywhere, I just am going to default and assume that it is a bad actor, that it is somebody trying to get me. Now, positive outlook, right? It's a core value, and that's okay, but err on the side of caution when it comes to cyber risks. Don't click the link. Don't assume Steve Bell wants you to go buy him a gift card. Just err on the side of caution. Encourage your agents to err on the side of caution. Like I mentioned before, they're in sales. They have to talk to people or they don't make sales. And then they don't make money, and then we don't make money, and that's a problem. So I do know that they have to have their phone numbers out there. They do have to take text messages. They do have to take phone calls, but you have to encourage them to do it safely and securely. Best rule of thumb, if you're not sure, don't click, don't go, don't put your information in, reach out and ask us. We have Barb Herrick in Florida. We have Paula Dochi here in Michigan, Ohio. Any one of us can help the other. If you're unsure and an agent comes to you, reach out to us. If you're pretty confident that you know the answer, go ahead and share it to them. They come to you for help, but again, you're not alone, so reach out to us if you're not sure. But again, just assume it's bad. So that's all I had for you guys today. I'll give it just a few moments. If you have any questions at all on any of these things, please feel free to unmute or go ahead and type it in the chat box. Thank you very much, Michelle. I will get that moved over. So your Moxie now is with Realogy, and we don't quite have a hub, but I think I can put it in external link, so I will do so, Michelle. Thanks for that. And I assume that Elite Sotheby's International Realty has the directory in there too. So we will take care of that. We could put it in the ASC square, Jessica, because that is password protected. So we actually can put it in the manager square and the ASC and the RSC square because those are password protected. For our agent purposes, whoops, it's right here. So you want to go to Hub in Moxie, and then it's right at the top, Schmidt directory. Once you pop that open, it opens up the link to the issue, which is the directory. And my system is super sensitive today. So, but we can put it in anything that is password protected, which includes the ASC square. So we will make that happen. And yes, Becky, I'll give you a call afterwards. Great. Anything else? If you do go to the directory, we do have some changes that Michelle, thank you, Michelle. I see you sitting down there in Venice, that she's going to be doing for us. So we do have some updated information. Obviously, it's a living thing. It's always updating and changing. So if you see something that's wrong, feel free to shoot it to me, but most likely it's going to be in the next updated iteration. Well, that's all the questions I see. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate it. It's a team effort. Again, keep in mind, cyber risks are everywhere. Stay safe. Reach out if you have any questions. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.